First of all, go Flames, Flame Nations all day, every day. Today's practice, from a running back's perspective, was it was decent. It wasn't the probably wasn't the better one in my eyes, but I haven't watched film either yet. So I still got to get up there and watch film and check out what those guys put on film today and see what we can improve on. But overall, today was an okay day. Not the best, not better than the last couple of days. But again, I haven't seen film yet, so look forward to watching it here in a few minutes. Oh, we're muted. I can't hear you.
All right, we'll start our questions with John Manson with a Sea of Red. John, go ahead.
Thanks, Alan. Hey, Coach, how you doing?
Doing good, brother. How you doing, man?
Doing pretty good. So take us into, you got Joshua Mack coming back. The guy started a lot, played a lot last season. Now he's looking possibly, I guess he's a super senior and brings a lot of experience and playing time to your position group. What are you hoping to see out of him this training camp? And, how is he as far as, helping to lead that unit?
Well, Mack is, that's correct. Mack's a super senior, and he's doing well right now. The way he has changed himself body-wise with Dom in the weight room, the strength and conditioning staff has done a heck of a job, and so has Danielle. So his body's totally different than what it's been since year one. So kudos to Dom and his staff and Miss Danielle. They've done a heck of a job with him and getting his body right. The one thing that we've been talking about the last couple of days has been keeping him conditioned along with those other backs throughout the season. And not only that, but his body and the maintenance of his body. And so the training room with Barry and those things like that, and with Dom, when we get to week 8 and 7, 10 and 12, that he's still performing at a top level. And right now, as we're sitting in, I want to say this is day 4 of practice, he's doing a good job. He's doing a good job of mentoring the younger guys. He's doing a good job of mentoring number 15, TJ Green, the transfer. He's doing a good job of that. He's doing a good job of being locked in on the details. As my guy, Coach Alston's sitting here, and he just said hello. What up, K.A.? But he's doing a really good job, man. And I'm proud of him right now. He's got to maintain on the big things and the little things as well. But he's improving. He's improving it, and Mack is a work of improvement, if that makes any sense. So, and I'm enjoying coaching him and the other guys, and he's doing well so far. So I don't know if I answered the question. I hope I did.
Next, we'll go to Damian Sordelette with the Lynchburg News and Advance.
Bruce, in your third year here, depth, you've gradually been building depth. You had Frankie, J Mack your first year.
Yeah.
J Mack was a primary guy last year. Now you had TJ Green, you got Shadro, you got Troy, and then you got probably a fullback in size of Malik Caper, and moving him from linebacker to running back. And from a depth perspective, how happy are you with this group? And you feel like there's reps plenty for these guys?
Yeah, it's really, we're all, as a staff, we're happy with these guys. The production, again, from spring till now and day 4, it's been pretty good. It's not the best, but we got to improve on some things in the detail things, the smaller details. But as a group, for depth-wise, we love Mack, we love Sadro, we love TJ, Troy, and then obviously Malik Capers, and then Frank Boyd, and then we have a couple other guys that are back there. But with Malik, I'll say this, his body has changed as well with Dom. Dom's done an unbelievable job with all these guys, from defense and offense to special teams. But with Malik, he's shedded some weight, and with Danielle in the diet plan and whatnot. So Malik might be down to 220, 215 or so, and he's really got this V shape. I don't think he's a fullback per se, and I wish we had a fullback in America. There's not many of those, and it'd be great to have a fullback. But we don't. That's not our style. That's not what we do. So he is a bigger back that can do some things. And these last 2 days, especially yesterday, watching him run the ball, he made some sudden moves and some quick moves on some jump cuts or whatnot on our inside zone. So it looked pretty. It looked pretty nice, right? So just getting him in the groove from moving over from linebacker, it's been awesome to watch him grow and mature in that position. But having the depth that we have, hopefully we can maintain that depth throughout the season and see what those 4 or 5 guys can do throughout the season. With Mack pushing the load and TJ Green and Cedro being added, and watching Cedro. I'll tell you this: Cedro has been really explosive, and just watching him on those outside zone plays and the inside zone when he breaks it, and some of the things we do with him. And not only that, but TJ, if you watch anything that TJ did during the spring, you can see how explosive he is, right? So the 3, I'll say this with the 1-2-3 punch, and then the possible 4th or 5th or whatever, however the game flows. But with those 3 guys, they're really good on the complementary for all 3, right? And what we do on offense, and it's going to be a joy to watch how those guys perform on game days.
For the media that does have questions, if you can please use the raise hand function. We're going to go back to John Manson.
Coach, I was going to ask you about Shadro. I mean, you talked about him a little bit there, and we saw a lot out of him last year. Obviously, a very, very explosive player and dynamic athlete. You talk about having 3 guys. I mean, is there a way that, I know you want your guys on the field as much as possible, but to make sure you're taking full advantage of Shadro's abilities and playmaking skills, of maybe having a set package for him or something like that to get him maybe out in space a little bit more?
Yes, sir.
What we saw last year.
Yes, sir. It'll all be the same. The same thing that you saw year 1. And then year 1, it was 3 backs that we used with Frankie and Pickett and Mack. It'll be the same thing like last year with Mack, Peyton, and Cedro. Nothing will change on that. All we did was when Peyton is gone, we've added TJ Green, and so it'll keep rolling the same exact way. So nothing will change in that area as far as how we get the ball to those guys and how those guys block and how those guys run routes and whatnot. So that dimension and that 3 dimensions of that and that backfield won't change at all. So, and the cool thing about it, we're in our 3rd year with this offense, and watching the things that we can do with those guys and what we do with our offensive line and what we do with our receivers and tight ends and quarterbacks. So it'll be awesome to see how that transpires throughout the year.
Damien, go ahead.
Bruce, you've touched on TJ Green and his explosiveness quite a bit, but for a 6'1", 200-pound running back who has that size to see over the line and that explosive first step, when you guys were looking through the transfer portal for a potential running back, did he fit the mold of a guy you guys could envision being a game changer in this offense?
No doubt. He's when we watched him and we watched the gamut of guys in the transfer portal, watched quite a bit, and that one stuck out the most, right? So as guys were getting added on to other rosters at other schools, and we were able to jump in on him and had to battle it out with some schools. And the good thing about it, our offensive staff and our defensive staff watched him, and our O-line coach fell in love with him from day 1 when we watched the film, and then our co-OCs watched him and they fell in love with him. And he's a great asset to this football program and this offense. And again, just really excited about seeing what he can do and all the improvements we can make on him and with him, through training camp, right? These next couple of weeks and see how that plays out, which I think is going in the right direction. So he definitely has a tool set, with the things he can do with his size and his speed.
John, go ahead.
Coach, you talked a lot about, those top 3 guys in Shadro, J-Mac, and TJ.
Yes, sir.
As you look to the 4th and 5th, like we mentioned earlier, you got a lot of depth there. Is there anybody that's, kind of stood out or emerged a little bit from that group through the first 4 days of camp?
Well, now I'll take it back to spring ball. I really liked what Frank Boyd did. It was a big improvement, right? So he didn't play in that the last year because he was injured or whatnot, but his spring was well. And right now, these last few days has been okay for him. Malik Caper has come on a long way from spring. Again, it's an adjustment from playing linebacker. He did play some tailback in high school as a bigger back, and he weighed a lot more, right? And just seeing his body slim down considerably a lot, actually, throughout this summer. I'm interested in seeing or looking forward to seeing how he improves these next few weeks and see if we can get more out of him and see how much he can learn and all that good stuff and then apply it through practice and in game-like situations. So I'm looking forward to see how those 2 work out. Troy has matured a lot, and he still has a tool set. He's really fast and has some twitch and does some things and can do some things for us. It's crazy because there's 6 guys, right? Those 6 guys being in there, and plus those other 2. But it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. But those top 3 guys are definitely the dudes.
We have time for one more question. Damian, if you want to wrap things up with Coach Johnson.
Yeah, Coach Joe, as you're heading into the season, what do you want to see out of these guys over the last 3 weeks of camp in terms of progression? I know you said today wasn't great for the running backs, but what do you want to see in progression so that way you feel confident going into that opener against Campbell?
Just the details, right? So if you've been in the system for 2 years going on year 3, your steps need to be precise, all right? Because that times up with what we do with the quarterback, right? It times up with what we do up front with the O-line with their steps and some of the run game. It times up when we talk about some things in our pass pro and how we need to release through the line of scrimmage and how we need to release if we're running any swing routes or whatnot and trying to get to the outer fifth on some plays route-wise, right? So the way we do things with our stance, the way we do things when we're picking up protection with our body and how we pull our head out of the blocks and how we use our hands and all those things that you're taught and you should learn prior to getting here, but which it doesn't happen in some cases, right? And so as a coach, you have to coach those techniques up and you have to coach those little things up and just the detail, right? I just want to see the improvement from detail from the classroom and applying it on the grass and from the walkthroughs and then applying it into game-like situations in practice. So need to see that improvement and need to see it grow through the next several weeks. And then not only that, but through the weeks getting ready for our opponents, right? So constantly staying on those guys about that. There needs to be growth and there needs to be a great knowledge of that. And just taking all that information when we're teaching it, right? Whether it's our co-offense coordinators, whether it's our O-line coach, myself, or our tight ends coach, or even Coach Friesen, taking that information and applying it to game-like situations. So just need to see that improvement and just keep growing.
Coach Johnson, thank you for your time today.
Hey, be alert, stand firm, be strong, be courageous, and do everything in love, guys. Go Flames.